What's going on, everybody? Marquez Norford here with Custom Fit Training Solutions. Welcome to my live. So as you can see, today we're going to talk about energy and why energy is such a big piece for people who are super busy and have a ton of things going on. So I want to take, for example, here, my client, Aaron. Aaron is a business owner, someone who works a ton, someone who doesn't really have time for many other things besides his business. Really takes time to see his family, friends, but most importantly, obviously, the biggest thing is having the business thrive. So a lot of times, and this is just like a lot of us, right? People will go throughout the day, and by the end of the day, you're feeling sluggish, you're feeling tired, or by lunchtime, you're sluggish, you're tired. You feel like when you get home, you've got no energy to do anything but just sit and be a vegetable and watch TV, whatever it might be. Now, Aaron was coming to me after work and trying to work out. And a lot of times I'd get him and he would just be like, man, Marquez, I don't think I have it today. Or, man, I just think that I'm feeling really tired right now. I don't think I'm getting much out of my workouts. I just don't feel energized. I can't hit the numbers that I normally hit. It's just been a struggle. And that caused me to ask him a certain number of questions of, hey man, what's going on at work? What's going on at home? Why are you feeling this way? Why are we at this point where you just have no energy when you're coming to work out? Like, we're not getting anything out of these workouts because we can't exercise as normal capacity that you're used to. And it took us a while to figure out and pinpoint the piece, but it actually was much more simpler than we thought. His nutrition was way off. Even though he was doing a diet plan, even though I programmed everything out for him, he was still having issues with the energy thing because he took on more responsibilities at the job and had a much higher stress level than he had when we first started. So it was time to tweak things at this point. So what we did was we took a look at his snacking patterns, and this is how this whole thing is going to be about: is how we can snack to shift our energy and always be energized. And this is going to be huge for a lot of people out here that just go through the day and think I need another cup of coffee by the end of the day, or it's 4 p.m. and I'm not going to eat dinner for a few hours. Like, what can I do? Up more coffee or more caffeine in some sort of way. We're going to go ahead and dive deep into how we can combat this. So for Aaron, because of his job and the nature of the job, he was in the office all the time. He had meetings, Zoom meetings, in-person meetings. He was going to job sites, all of these things. So he really needed to-go snacks, stuff that was ready for him to go. So when we look at this nutrient deficiency that he was going through, he just was not getting enough nutrient rich or nutrient dense snacks in throughout the day. He would just skip a snack throughout the meal because it would just not be convenient for him. He would just go through the day and just be like, well, it's easier for me to get a cup of coffee, so I'm going to stick that way. And sometimes he even turned to pre-workout, which tons of caffeine in a lot of those things, and it's just not good long term to be on that. And because of that, he started to notice that caffeine lost its effectiveness for him. Now, as far as the nutrient deficiency piece goes, what was going on with him was he was just, again, not eating the right things, and he wasn't doing anything to enhance his energy metabolism. He also was down a path of dehydration, wasn't drinking enough water. He also then was on this, what we like to call a blood sugar roller coaster. He would eat things that weren't necessarily conducive of his goals, and these things would cause his blood sugar to rise and fall. And it was those low points where he just would get to me and be like, man, I just can't train, or man, I don't have the energy to do this or do that. And we had to implement some different things and different strategies to help fix that. Now, the immediate thing we can do specifically in this nutrition piece is time up our snacks. And as we time up our snacks, we'll be able to time in some good, healthy snacks that are going to do different things and not only just provide you energy, but boost your cognitive function and also boost your metabolism while we're at it. So the timing of these energy boosting snacks is really key to helping you to overcome that mid-morning tiredness or hunger, that mid-afternoon, late afternoon tiredness that you might be feeling. And it's also going to impact your overall energy levels and performance throughout the entire day and night. So let's talk about a few of these here. So first one, mid-morning / mid-afternoon snacks. So what we want to do here is time this up to be a snack that's going to be in between meals. And it's in between meals because that's typically when your energy is going to dip. Now, when we get into these points, we feel low. We feel like there is nothing that we can do to combat this. We feel like we're sleepy. It's almost like what's it called? When people just fall asleep at will. It's you're in the meeting, you're just like dozing here in the car all those times you're just dozing off completely. And it's just one of those things. You're at a low point, your blood sugar's low. You don't have anything in your system to keep you awake. There's nothing to give you a boost. And because of that, you're just falling asleep for no reason at all. So the key is you want to time your snack to be in between your big meals, which is lunch and breakfast, or lunch and dinner, because that's when those things are going to hit a lot of the times. And it, again, that's a time when a lot of people will turn to caffeine. And I'm here to tell you that you don't have to turn to caffeine. It's not necessarily the thing to do for you. You can combat this with different snacks that are going to be A, high in protein, not only high in protein, but B, you're going to have a little bit of carbohydrate right there. When we get to that perfect mix of carb and protein, that's when we see how we can use our snacking times to boost our energy levels. And again, not only boost our energy levels, but boost our metabolism as well. And that's, again, that's another key factor in really getting a control on this thing here, this energy piece. And so what we did for Aaron was, I was like, okay, so what's going on with you between breakfast and lunch that you just get so low energy and you feel like you just cannot function? And then we also looked at, well, what's happening on your way home from work that you're also becoming so low energy, not function. And his issue was he snacked completely wrong. If he was going to have a snack, again, it was coffee. He considered that a snack because it made him feel full. Or he didn't do anything at all. And obviously we had a dip and a low point. Or thirdly, he would eat something terrible. He'd be like, okay, well, I'm just going to go get a crimpet, a butterscotch crimpet at Wawa instead of anything else. Of all the things he could have chose, that's what he chose. And that was his kryptonite. And it was okay. And we just looked at that and we were like, all right, well, let's take a look. Let's just sit here and let's track for the next few days, see what you're doing. Don't change a thing. Let's just see what you're doing. And let's go ahead and see exactly what you're eating so that we can kind of just make some nice, easy swaps and just do the tiny, tiny, tiny changes that are going to help us and that are going to last a lot longer. So what we did, instead of him going for snacks that were, let's just say, empty calories, we started to incorporate these high protein snacks that help us to achieve a lot more. Now, I did a post on snacking here in LinkedIn the other day that gave us some insight on exactly when to snack, and gave some examples of things that you could snack on when you're feeling a certain way, whether it's low mentally or even low physically. Now, for a lot of these snacks, their key is you want them to be healthy and you want them to kind of release the energy as you go. You don't want them to just give you an instant burst because you're going to crash for the most part after that. So if we're going to look at a snack, let's just say it's before a meeting or it's a mid-morning, afternoon, whatever it might be. Let's just say what you want here is something that's going to get you cognitively and physically again. And a good choice here is going to be some trail mix. That's going to include a mix of nuts and seeds, which is protein. And that's also going to include some dried fruits, which is that carb base that you want. And the best part is there's a very specific ratio you can use to get to this point. And that's going to be a 1-to-1 ratio of protein and carbs. You could even go 1-to-2 protein and carbs, but let's just stick with a 1-to-1 protein and carbs. And it's the carbs piece. A lot of people are afraid of carbs, but if we're choosing healthy carbs like fruits or veggies, we're going to get a lot more out of a crimpet. That's an empty calorie, something that's not very nutritious. And the best part about the fruit is it's easily turned into energy, specifically for working out or for a meeting, something that you need to be awake with, because it's going to be used as energy when we go through these things. And it's going to help you to use it and not have it be turned into fat. Because when we eat those things and then we're not active, your body just automatically is going to store it as fat. And so the cool thing about this fruit and nut mix here, where this is going to help us to maintain steady blood sugar levels, which again is an issue because those highs and lows are what gives that energy up and energy down. We never want to get to the low. So this is what's going to help us prevent that energy crash. Okay. So next, let's look at before workouts, right? So he was coming to me and was very tired before you get there. And I'm like, well, are you eating anything on the way here? Are you doing anything that's going to help you be on the up and up by the time you get to your exercise session? And he was like, no. And I was like, okay, let's look at this. Again, 1-to-1 ratio here and of protein and carbs. And around 30 minutes beforehand, we just implemented him to have a piece of fruit or something as simple as like a piece of bread with some peanut butter and maybe a little bit of jelly, a tiny little PB&J, nothing crazy, nothing that's egregious. And we obviously always made sure that both of those, the peanut butter and the jelly, were low sugar and were whole and not processed and didn't have all those extra chemicals in it. That a very important piece of the puzzle here. Okay. And we did that. Boom. He had energy for days to do our workouts. He was crushing it, getting through them, still having energy even afterwards to get home and not fall asleep on his way home. And it really worked for him. And then even after the workout, we were like, okay, well, if you're not going to eat dinner for a while, okay, let's get something in your stomach after the workout. And that's gonna help you not only to aid in your muscle recovery, but it's gonna replenish your glycogen stores, which is glycogen sugar. Okay. And so what I kind of had him do here, and again, mix of carbs and proteins. And this is within 30 minutes of the workout happening. What we would do is just a nice, simple, light protein smoothie that was made with protein powder, almond milk, and a small, tiny amount of fruit, like a mango or a peach, something like that. Whatever, we figured he liked cherries, so we would do something like that. That's just going to give us that healthy version of carbohydrates right there. And that would keep him up for hours and keep him ready to still get home, have time with his family, eat dinner, all of those things. Now, we found also that after we did this, there were still some other low energy points of the day for him. And he would find that during long meetings or any mundane tasks where he was like at the computer just staring, a lot of times, again, he'd start to get the nods off. He'd be not focusing. He just didn't have cognitively, he just was not there during those times because he had so much responsibility that it was just really, really weighing down on him. So another simple thing we did was, okay, same thing. We'll treat these mundane tasks or these meetings, we'll treat them just like a workout. Now let's go 30 minutes ahead of time before that meeting. Let's get something in you. Okay. And this would help him combat the, nodding off, the not paying attention piece, the daydreaming, the just not being focused and not being mentally sharp when he felt like he needed to be just to be successful in those meetings. And what we did was we looked at all the different things he liked, and what we came up with was the nut butter thing again. So nut butter, some sort of nut butter. It wasn't peanut butter this time, but whatever he decided, some sort of nut butter which is the protein part, which is going to give us the which is going to give us the protein part, excuse me. And we put that on some whole grain bread. And for him, that was a great snack. He'd drink some water after that. He'd feel full from this, and then he'd have energy that was burning and helping him to stay wide awake and alert during these meetings. And felt that he had that cognitive focus back, and he felt that he was not dozing off as much, and it just wasn't a thing that was happening to him. It just up and stopped that quickly. Again, these are simple things you can just implement into your day-to-day, into your life right away. It's not going to take a whole giant change for this to happen. These are just simple hacks you can use throughout your day to help you to feel better, feel more energized, and feel like you can actually get through a day and even get through the evening without having a ton of caffeine. Now, for him, a lot of times when he'd get home, there still might be time where he wasn't eating for a while, or he had a meeting after work he had to go to, or something. There was something that came up in between him and eating dinner, and on times when he didn't work out as well. So we had to figure out, okay, well, what can we do that'll give you a little bit of a boost pre-dinner, so that you'll be able to still get through whatever's going on and not feel like you're starving by the time you get to dinner, which may cause you to overeat. And we're right back at rock bottom with the being in a caloric, too much of a caloric surplus. And so what we did was we implemented an evening snack here. So the evening snack, the timing of it was kind of around the evening times before, obviously the evening times before dinner. And it was a light energy boosting snack that, kind of just stood in the gap, that few hours of time that's in between the eating of dinner and whatever else he had going on throughout the day. And it was simple for him. It was a few slices of cheese that gave us the protein. And then we used whole wheat crackers there, which was our carbs that helped him to not only feel energized, but felt full. And again, drink some water with that, boom, he felt full automatically. And then that would get him to dinner time without having something that would spoil his dinner, like some sort of like a crimpet. Like he loved to just go to crimpets. And what this did for us was it helped to helped to maintain stable blood sugar levels again, and it also prevented excessive hunger. So no more overeating for him. We were to control his hunger cues with that one snack. And and this wasn't it. There's still more stuff here. So the one of the other things that he would have was if he say it was another day, he seemed to just things were all over the place for him schedule wise. So it seemed like it was always another hurdle we had to figure out. And there were times where maybe he had an early dinner or he had a client meeting that was for dinner, but it was at like 4:30 or 5 o'clock. And then he may be up till 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whenever it was, just still doing work. And so what we found was he'd get hungry at those times and he'd go reach for something that he knew wasn't necessarily conducive of his goals. And so what we did was we implemented a before bed snack just on an as needed basis. If we felt like he was not going to eat, or he was going to eat an early dinner and he wasn't going to eat for a while, it was like, okay, well, let's just say, like, I don't want you to feel like you need to go all the way until breakfast the next morning, because that's one, that's not sustainable. Two, you're probably going to have to grab for something, or you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and go to the fridge. And we don't want to do that. We want you to have full, good sleep and have good sleep quality so you don't feel like you have to wake up. And so what we did was we, again, small, tiny little snack here. And this one was more so focused on protein and healthy fats. So what we did was we took hummus, which he liked, which is a nice little protein source, and served it with some cucumber slices, which are the carbs. And the hummus also had good healthy fats in it. And this helped him to not only feel like he wasn't just starving before bedtime, this helped him sleep a lot better. It just prevented sleep disruptions all due to hunger. And studies have shown that a little something before bed can help you to sleep a lot better. And what we found for him specifically was the best way to combat all of these things and to make sure that these snacks were used and used the right way. Came up with a little guide for him, which if you comment below, I can give you that guide. And what we did was we went and we went to Amazon. We found all these snacks on Amazon and we put them on auto order. We didn't even just auto order them home. We auto ordered them to the office so that he would have them coming to him on a monthly or bi-weekly basis. And there was no excuse to not have them, because at first they were just going home, but sometimes he'd forget to pack them for the day. So I was like, you know what? Wherever you're going to be throughout the day, let's go ahead. If that's a job site, that's whatever this might be for the next few weeks, let's go ahead and get this order to be delivered there so that you know you're always going to have it and you'll never run out. And the best part was, like, as we implemented this, productivity went up. He said his employees were saying, man, dude, you're like a different person. You're not hangry, you're not half asleep. You're really focused, you're locked in, we're getting more work done. And because of that, he got to work less and he had more time on our hands. And it was very important for him to have that time, because as a business owner, time is everything. And if we don't have time, if we can't master that, we're going to be spinning our tires, wasting time and wasting money. So for Aaron, this completely changed his life. And I even was like, dang, this is crazy. I'm going to go ahead and implement this to the rest of my clients. And I was able to. And the best part was, these things are readily available. Amazon has them in stock all the time at a distribution center near you, and they can get them to you a lot of times the same day if you order it. And that was the key thing for him, was making sure that it was there when it needed to be there and when he needed it. All he had to do was reach his hand out and grab it. And that really saved a lot. And so for that reason, I'm here to tell you, if you are looking for some sort of energy boost, if you are unsure of why you're feeling sleepy throughout the day, it's most likely your nutrition. And we can combat that easily. I just took and gave you 6 or 7 different ways that you can combat this through just snacking. And that's a small change. That's nothing huge at all. No supplementation, doesn't require a trainer or a nutritionist, just simple tips that are going to help you get through the day. So if you need something like that, go ahead and message me, comment below. I'll send you the guide. I'll show you exactly how we did this for Aaron and how this can be implemented into your life. And if you need even more help than that, if you need workout help, if you need nutrition help other than the snacking piece, reach out, schedule a call. We'll talk about things. Not going to be a sales call, just a way for me to give you value and help you to understand how we combat these issues as they come. So guys, hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for coming to my live. Coach Kez out.